It's an airworm. It's going to my brain to educate me through my ear. I'm just saying that because, you know, people probably, oh, you're just putting the blame on others and not taking responsibility. It's like, dude, no. It's one thing I will always say, my own mistakes. If I dig my own grave, I will lay in it happily. Simple as that. That's just truth. That's the truth. There's no intentions or anything behind what I say. It's just that's the truth. Not a lot of people could talk like that and not have any hidden intentions, or you know, they could just talk truthfully, say something truthfully without keeping something, you know, just making excuses or stuff like that. It's hard to describe. Just being completely honest. About a half an hour left. Yeah. There I go. Yeah, we're freaking stealing the car and everything. Like I said in the other video, borrow my mom's car. I didn't get my license until I was 17. I didn't know how to drive perfectly. I remember I took the test in that 1978 Pontiac Grand Am, or so, no, I got a Grand Am, now I got an '02 Grand Am, that's why I'm always so used to saying that. That's why I said 78 Pontiac Sunbird. I remember the prick, freaking old asshole, taking the driver's test in it. He slammed the door so hard, he broke the freaking pulley system in the window. And the freaking passenger window literally just went boom! Slammed right into the freaking door. I don't know if that ever got fixed. I don't remember. But I failed that driver's test the first time because they still take you on the same route now as they did back then. It's been over 10 years. You know, you go around the parking lot and then you parallel parking and everything, then they take you out of the parking lot, you make a left in the industrial park and go down to a four-way stop sign, go straight, go up the hill, get to a light, and you make a left, go about 20 yards, make another left into a parking lot, turn around, go back the way you came. Simple as that. And bad placement for the speed limit sign, because when you're going back the way you came up the hill and you make a left at the light coming towards the parking lot, going back you're making a right at the light, but it's a yield sign. So you see the sign and then you're too busy looking for oncoming traffic. By the time you look forward and start going, you're right next to a speed limit sign, which is 25 miles an hour. I was going 35. He asked me, he's like, what's the speed limit? I looked, 35? Nope. He told me where the sign was. I looked later. It's freaking, it should honestly be about 10 yards more ahead. He failed me for that. That guy was a prick. And then I took it in my Gram's car. That was a Chevy. I forget what kind of car that was. It was a nice car. I took it in hers and I passed it. that, let's see, I might as well just start moving forward. Trying to remember things as, my childhood and pretty much, childhood and adolescence. No, it's adolescence too. Is that 13 to 18 or 12 to 18 or something like that? 12 to 19 or... I'll just consider it pre-18. But, trying to remember everything back then is just a lot harder than you think it is. But, first job I had, a thrift store in Plymouth, full-time. Actually, no. I'll get there. I'll be linking up with the car discussion in a second. First job I had, Ollie's Restaurant in Kingston. My brother got me the job. I started out as a busboy, then I moved on to salad bar and bussing and dishwasher. I remember I was coming up with every excuse I can to get out early. I was always freaking trying to get out early on that job. And he bought it all the time too. Yeah, I worked with my brother and his friend. I remember my last day working there. I think somebody was going home early. Sundays always sucked. I mean, bad. And I think my brother's friend was supposed to go home. And I just walked out. Just like that, that was it. I just walked out and quit. And if he was the one that was supposed to go home early, then I screwed him over. But once again, not my fault, because I wasn't taught any responsibilities or had to work hard and all that stuff. It's like I didn't care. If I didn't want to do it, I didn't do it. I was making good money too, because back then I was working that job and I was still going to day treatment at St. Mike's for the summertime. And I was on the work program up there. So I was getting paid for working there, and then the evenings I would work at Ollie's. I'd be getting paid for that. I don't remember what the hell I did with all my money though. I don't know. I wasn't responsible with that. I wasn't buying clothes like I should have. I don't remember. Those were my first two jobs. Then I didn't work until I was 18. I was 16 with those two. I'm just waiting to hear that beep, beep, beep. I don't know when I will with that battery. If it happens, I'll just put the other battery in and keep talking until I feel like stopping this time. But first full-time job I had, thrift store in Plymouth, and I started there in January of 2000. January, like the second or third week of January. That was hard work. I built up some nice freaking muscles there, because I was picking up everything you think of. Heavy freaking barrels of toys, like everything that goes to the thrift store. Just like, they had the one section the girl was sorting through little toys, little G.I. Joes or stuff from Happy Meals and just little things like that, or like knickknacks, or just everything small. I remember her garbage can was a freaking oil drum. Small oil, normal size oil drum. Well, size of a normal garbage can with wheels on the bottom. Those were how the garbage was if it wasn't like just plastic or paper. And I'd be freaking bending down, grabbing the bottom, grabbing the top, putting on my knee and lifting that shit up and dumping it into a huge cart to take out to the garbage. Man, I was building some freaking crazy muscle back then. I was still skinny as hell, but I'm just talking, I was just freaking cut like hell. My muscle very, what's that word? Tone. I was very toned. I was building, I wasn't bulking. I was just getting extremely freaking toned. Strong as shit too. Back then, that was hard work. That freaking, yeah, I'm watching the clock this time. It's gonna soon. It's gonna go beep beep beep. That like the clothes they would recycle that they couldn't sell. A big compactor machine for that. I would do that. I'd just take all the clothes, put them in a bin, roll them, wheel them over to the machine. Couple pieces of cardboard on the bottom. Put the clothes in, compact it till it got. Then keep doing that until it got to a certain point. Put more cardboard on top, and then put like thick zip tie or just thick plastic straps. I don't know. I think it was yeah. Started at the top, went to the back of it, then through the bottom. Go back out front. Take these clips. Take a freaking like a ratchet freaking ratchet tool or something like that, and just tighten for the straps up. Open the door, or no, let the compactor back up. Open the door, and this thing would be what, 400 pounds, about 300 pounds. 200 to 300 pounds. I never weighed the things. They weren't. It was impossible to pick them up yourself. Like literally, you had to use an extra person or leverage. I'd pull it out and I'd just roll it in the back and roll in the back and then put up on the side so it was like just block. And the round part was, facing outwards, like facing around. Once I got the first level done, they put ramps up. You'd have to push it up a freaking ramp. They were 3 feet high on its side, and the ramp was probably about 5 yards long or something like that, 10 feet, whatever. Oh, that sucked so bad. I'm trying to think if they had wheels on it. I don't remember. I just remember not being able to walk up the ramp. I had to be on the side pushing it. And I get to a point for a third level. Oh. Then once it got so full, the recycling truck would come, big rig, and we'd all there'd be like 5 of us. We'd all load that shit up in the truck. I hated those days. It was hard freaking work. I was making 7 something an hour then. The garbage, oh my god. I'd fill the bin up, take it out back. There's a tall garbage bin. And then we had this freaking big makeshift freaking ramp out of wood, probably like this size of this freaking bed with chains on top. We lift it up and chain it. What the fuck is she listening? Chain it to the garbage can. So it'd be like that. Like, here's the side of the garbage can. It'd be like that, and here's the top. There'd be like, 2 feet on top. So you basically take the garbage can, which probably freaking weighed, I mean, hundreds of pounds. I never was able to weigh it, but you have to think of all the garbage that goes through a thrift store, everything possible, household and garage, anything useless would be in that. This freaking giant freaking cart. And push it up the ramp, hold it there, get into position, and then it had like a lip on top, so you push it up a bit, set it on your knee, get underneath it, and then push it all the way over and dump it out. Basically the same freaking workout Rocky does in Rocky 4, where he's lifting all them guys up in a cart in Russia. You know, people in the cart, he basically lifts the cart up like that. Same workout. And I'd be doing that all freaking day. Every time the garbage gets full. Oh, my back was so freaking strong back then too. That was hard work. I was picking up sofa beds by myself and putting them on smaller carts to wheel them out to the floor. Sofa beds. I don't think I could do that now. I don't think, yeah, I'd pick them up the same way I would the garbage can. I'd basically just, pick them up. How did I do that? I think I pushed them up, set it on my knee, picked it up off the floor so it's resting on my knee and I'm holding it up, and then I would pick it up and place it on the frickin' cart. I was picking up, hauling everything that you can think of, everything light to heavy. That was really hard work. That job got me my first everything. My first car. Oh, I remember that was back when PlayStation 2 was first coming out. I can kick myself in the ass for this. Back at when KB Toys were still around. 10 minutes left on that battery. I had a PS2 on reserve. I think it was like $300 and some dollars, $350. And when they first came out, there was a limited supply of them, so they were literally selling for like thousands of dollars. I remember the most I see one sell was like $5,000, which is freaking nuts. And what did I do with the money? Yeah, I had the receipt too in my wallet for like a whole freaking year to show that I had on reserve, to show so I can actually buy it when it came out. And what did I do with the money I had set aside for it? I financed 1993 Pontiac Firebird, little 3.4 liter V6. It was a great car, somewhat. I had good times in it, but what sucked is, of course I wouldn't have done it even if I bought the PS2. I would have been too stupid because I was still just a freaking kid. I mean, I was only freaking 19. But if I would have just bought that PS2 and resold it for a profit, I could have just bought the car straight up. But that freaking car, I had it 2 days and the transmission went in it. They rebuilt the whole trailer. And then 2 months after that, 2 or 3 months after that, the whole motor went. Which the garage I bought it from paid for all of it. Well, actually, I paid the deductible. I think the tranny I paid like, what did I pay, 300 and some or 700 and some? I forget, one or the other. I think it was 300 and some. But the motor I paid deductible, that was 500 and some. Actually, I had to borrow that off my mother, which I never paid her back, of course. And one thing that sucks, I probably would still have that car today, but they found one motor to replace it with that only had literally like 20,000 miles, or 16 or 20,000 miles on it. But the crank was bent. They literally put that engine in the freaking, all the way in the car to find that out. Then they had to take it all out again. The car had 90-some thousand miles on it when that engine went. I think like 98,000 or something like that. And then the motor they ended up putting it in had 94,000 miles on it. I had that car literally for another month. Like, I think you gotta wait like 6 months before you could trade it in when you finance or something like that. All that, and I had it freaking 6 months. I traded it in. I don't want to deal with no more freaking problems. But yeah, that's more bad luck. Just quick general freaking statement. Every single car, every single bike I've ever bought has been a piece of shit. Always had freaking problems. Always. Right within 3 months. Always had problems. And not simple shit either. No. Except my first motorcycle. I fucked that up. That had cosmetic flaws, but that was known right then and there. Mechanically, that bike was flawless. But I traded that Firebird in. I think it's wind blowing. Let's make sure it's still on. I traded that Firebird in for a 94 Trans Am. I forget what the hell the freaking car dealership was called. I always used to make fun of them. The name. Again, I had that car for 2 days, and the distributor went. Yeah, 94 Firebird with a 5.7 LT1 in it. That car was lots of fun. Lots of fun. And then, I remember, I think they said it was supposed to be done one day. I went up there. They were trying to put a Camaro part in it and it wouldn't work. That was funny. Yeah, we're trying to put, even on the top it said Camaro. No, I think it said Chevrolet. I forget which. But I think they ended up costing me like 50 bucks. Yeah, they tried putting a used part in it and they ended up screwing themselves, had to put a brand new one in there. That was the only problem I had with that, but it was still a major problem where I couldn't drive it and I had to take it back and get them to fix it. It's like, how the hell, every car right off the bat, problems. I mean, do they not check the freaking cars, or I don't know what, just bad luck. And I had that for quite a long time. Watch this clock, freaking 1:10, it's been 5 minutes, it'll be an hour and a half. I'm waiting for that battery to shut off. If it does, that's all I'll know. It's the settings and not, the batteries, going or deteriorating. Because this one, that one was almost fully charged, that battery, and that's what they say to do if you're going to store a battery, to charge it almost all the way and then just leave it alone. That one was almost fully charged when I found it and started charging it, and literally charged in like half an hour, if that. This one was fully dead. So the lifespan on this probably deteriorated. But yeah, I had a lot of. I remember the first day freaking driving that thing. I almost wrecked it. I remember I was at a stop sign. I turned right. Thank God there was no oncoming traffic in the opposite lane. I gave it too much gas when I was making the turn, and I fishtailed. I was fishtailing for a good freaking 15 yards. Yep. Okay. An hour and a half. That's all these. So I guess that battery didn't. I guess this battery didn't deteriorate, or that one rather, because I just switched them out. Which is funny. The freaking. Good thing I bought 2 of them. But yeah, it ended abruptly, right when I thought it would. And the freaking SD card is still in the green, so there's still like more than half, probably more than 60% left storage on that card now, even after an hour and a half of talking on the highest setting, or one of the highest settings, something like that. But or fishtailing for 15-20 yards. I was freaking out. My buddy actually, he knew what he was doing. Because I think I was still on the gas. He went boom, and he bumped the transmitter. It was an automatic. He bumped it into neutral. So when I finally stopped, I was like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "I bumped it in neutral." But yeah, I had a lot of fun in that car. Wasn't T-tops, didn't have a raised wing on the back like most. Was the 3rd generation? I forget what generation that is. Did have the raised wing like most of them that in those years have. The 93 to 97. But I remember it got repoed once, and then I got it back, and the second time I just let it go. But the first time was lucky because it was right at income tax time, and I went and paid it and got it back. I remember I was one of the times I got kicked out of my house. I'll get to that too. But yeah, I was living over my brother's house over in Wilkes-Barre and Horton Street. That was good times. And I remember I was upstairs on the computer. My brother comes flying up there yelling, "They're taking your car!" I was freaking out. I wasn't a dick, though. I didn't come out and freak, "You're not taking my car." I knew why they were taking it. I was just like, "Hey, I gotta get my stuff, okay?" I got my stuff out, and that was fine. They told me where it was going, you know, how to get it back. I did. I don't know why people throw a shit fit. It's like, dude, it's like you either make your payments or they're taking your car. There's nothing you can do about it. If you want to keep your car, make your payments. I understood. I was only 19 or 20 or something like that at the time. I was 20. Yeah, 20. I remember all that shit. That was only $205 or $208 a month. Yeah, it only had, I think I had like 94, I had around 90-some thousand, or no, 89,000 miles on it when I bought it for like $8 grand. I think I put $1,500 down, plus to pay off the first car, the Firebird. I think finance was like $7 or something like that. I got a big old system in the back of it. Dogs. I went and I picked out a box that just with two 12-inch subs in it. I forget what the hell it was exactly, but it fit perfectly with the back hatch window. I literally had like two inches of freaking room, and it just literally, the box landed on top perfectly with it. I think the car already had, or was that I got an amp. I'm trying to remember what car had the wiring already in it. I think it was the Firebird. Already had the wiring in it, a big fuse, and I think I took the wiring out of that one. I put it in the Trans Am. I think that's what it was. Because I remember, yeah, it was, because the Firebird had a good stock system in it. And obviously somebody upgraded it too. Yeah, first car was nice. It was dark green, and it had like bright tan leather interior. All the freaking girls love that car. I got so many compliments from women with that freaking car, just pulling up like Turkey Hill. Oh, nice car. I didn't get a single one of my Trans Am. That was a light teal blue. That was nice. That one just had cloth interior though. I had a lot of fun in that car. Who finally did it? I freaking the one coolant line got a crack in it, and I just kept duct taping it. And finally, I said screw it, and I went up, drove 20 miles, a couple towns up to the dealership and ordered a new hose. I didn't know I was ordering one, they just didn't have it in stock. I thought they would. Big mistake. I was about a mile and a half from home when the head gasket went overheated. Fucking overheated the car. That's what did her in. One stupid mistake. Why? Well, yeah, I'm just sitting there in traffic. All of a sudden, you see steam blowing out of the engine. I got it home. Let it cool off. I didn't know at the time. I don't know how my dad didn't freaking know what happened. So, hopefully to fix it, what do we do? What I should have done to begin with. I took the hose off. It was literally like 2 inches from the mount where it cut, where it got a slit. I took the hose off, I cut it right at the slit, and I reattached it, and everything was fine. But I already blew the head gasket. So I drove it around for how long like that, and all I had to do was cut the hose and reattach it. I'd probably still have that fucking car today. Big mistake. My own stupidity. Fucking, so freaking stupid for doing that. Or so stupid for not doing it sooner before I blew the head gasket. I had the car for another couple of months. And I finally just said screw it and freaking left to get repoed. The guy came, and it was the same guys that took it the first time. And I came out, and he started explaining. I'm like, nope. Like, I know what you're doing. I'm like, I blew the head gasket. I'm letting you take it. So that was that. But I should have had more experience. I should have had more knowledge driving a fast car. Because the first powerful car I was driving, my dad had an 86 or an 88 Thunderbird. It had the typical 5.0 Mustang engine in it. It was a 5.0 engine that they put in the Mustangs back then. I think they call them the Fox bodies. I think it's the car. I don't remember. I'm not a Mustang guy. I'm not even a car guy anymore. But I remember I was cruising around that fucking car. That car was nice. That freaking digital speedometer too. That was crazy. There was a boat though. That freaking suspension on that thing sucked. There was too much power, too much everything. With just, I mean, literally, you turn that wheel like this, and the whole car was just like literally like a boat on water. The whole body just rolled with the car, and you're just like, It's a disaster. He still had his snow tires on, and I just washed the car. We were cruising around the Ave. I was freaking trying to pick up girls or just show off or whatever. Usually just showing off and racing. And going over the bridge. Just 2 lanes. There's from 2 lanes to 3 lanes. Middle lane goes straight over the. When you're over the bridge, it keeps going straight. Right lane turns, and left lane goes left. Obviously, I'm in the middle lane at the light right before the bridge, and there's I think it was a Ford Probe GT was on my right, and I was trying to get over. I was just, starting to speed up normally, just starting to get over. I wasn't racing. He wouldn't let me. Every time I sped up, he sped up. So finally, I just gunned it. And I got going really quick, really fast. And I finally get over, but it was too late. And I'm already too far over the other side of the bridge. I hit the brakes. Snow tires, after just washing the car, they were wet. The turn, it wasn't just a quick right. I mean, it wasn't just an L turn. It was, I mean, it curved. I mean, it was just a nice smooth curve to the right, but it wasn't a wide turn. It was fairly quick, but it wasn't an L turn. I mean, it just went like that. And I hit the brakes, slow down, and the tires lock up. I tried to make the turn, and the car literally just went like this, and it did a full 180. I skidded straight across the street through four lane road, right across the 4-lane road, and the back wheel bounced up on the curb. If there was anybody sitting at that freaking light, I would have been dead. Because they would hit my freaking door. And I was going really freaking fast. My freaking friends started freaking out. Oh, take me home. Nothing happened to the car. It was fine. But, yeah, they were freaked out. I wasn't. I was laughing. Laughing and embarrassed. Yeah, that was a good time. Just fucked up thing, it was happening in like slow motion though. I was freaking out so much. At the time, like as it happened, it was like slow motion. I'll finish this up in a minute. Well, yeah, let's see, the Trans Am. It got repoed. Yeah, my dad never had a problem loaning me the Thunderbird either, because every single time I took it, no matter how much gas was in it when I took it, I always brought it back with a full tank. Oh, the Trans Am. $205 or $208 a month. 19 years old, my insurance was only $65 a month. It started out at $90 and then slowly went down to $65 because my dad was a co-signer and I had it primarily under his name. Full coverage too, for a fucking sports car. I was the secondary driver even though I was technically the primary driver. That's why I was only paying that little bit. That was crazy. I don't even think I'd be able to get it that cheap now by myself. He wasn't 65 yet. No. He was still in his 50s. Let's see, after the Trans Am, I didn't have a car for a while. Actually, wait. Biggest regret. My parents actually bought me this car for like $200 from a local car dealership, little shit place that just opened up. My mom had the 78 Sunbird. They bought me a 1980 Pontiac Sunbird. It looked exactly the same, but it was a lighter red. My mom's was a dark burgundy. This was a light red, and it was lower. The suspension was lower. It was more of a sports car setup. Had nice rims on it and everything. And it was just, you know, me and my dad were going to work on it and fix it up. But one day, it just stopped. Turned the key and nothing. It just wouldn't freaking start. We replaced the starter. We replaced the distributor. It never ran. After one day, it just stopped and it just wouldn't crank over. I mean, all I ever did was start it up and, you know, let it warm up and that was it. And just one day, it just shit the bed. It's probably electrical or something stupid, but they replaced the spark plugs and everything. But my dad knew how to turn a wrench, but he was never knowledgeable in the workings of the engine. Like, I seen him, like, we had one car that somebody threw a cigarette in and it caught fire. Whole interior was ruined. I seen him replace the whole interior, seats and everything. Changing oil and spark plugs, just basic shit like that he knows how to do, but troubleshooting, figure out what's wrong. No. He never knew. So the car just sat for years and then it just got rid of it. Which sucks because that car was, it just, like I said before, it basically looked like a mini Bandit Trans Am. Where'd my soda go? The car was freaking sweet as hell too. Let's see, after the Trans Am, I had a few late 80s Ford Escorts, a few of them. I think I had 3, and they were all junks. All fucking never lasted more than 6 months. Then I went and bought that buy her pay her place, or I freaking of course got overcharged out the ass and interest. And for the car, I bought 94 Pontiac Grand Prix. That was 94. 4-door. Actually, nothing ever went wrong with that car. Wow, yeah, you know what? Yeah, never happened to that car. The thermostat was going though. That was all. I had it in the freaking glove box too. I just never got around to replacing it. I totally forgot about that car because of the fuck up I made after having it for 2 years. Or no, close to 2 years. It was a year and a half. A year and a half later, we got, me and one of my ex-girlfriends, we both went there for a car around the same time. We both got offered to trade it in for a brand new car. Or I think she did, and then I just figured I'd be able to as well. She got a brand new car financed. Actually, no, I went down there first. Yeah, I don't know if we both got offered or what. I forget what it was, but I went down there first, and I did something stupid. The car was almost paid off. I traded it in, and I leased a brand new Cobalt 2-door red one. I forget what year. I think it was 06. Yeah, 06. Or, I forget. I think it was 07. I don't remember. And she got a 4-door black one, but she financed it. Her payments were $300 some a month, so were mine. Big mistake. I don't know why anybody leases a car. You're basically you're basically renting a car. You're paying out the ass to rent a car that you can do nothing with. You're limited for how many miles. You have to take care of it. You cannot mess it up, or you got to pay extra, I think. I was like, no, I should never done that. And then, of course, I had to let that get repossessed because I didn't have the money to pay for it because I needed dental work. It was like, get dental work done or let it get repoed. I let it get repoed. Luckily, we were both working separate shifts, so we split the cost of the car. I took it to work and at night, and then she took it at the second shift. I think she worked the second shift. Then, you know, I didn't have a car except sharing that one until out of nowhere one day she just decides. Now, I was laid off from St. Mike's for 6 months, or yeah, 6 months. Oh, I was bored as shit. After the first month, I was going crazy. I was so bored. I got back, and before I even got my first paycheck, oh, I'm moving out. We're sharing a car. Moving back out with my mother, just like that, out of nowhere. So, I had to take my first check and borrow off my dad. I went to Carlotta Credit, and I remember I was browsing a few days before, and I seen a Grand Am down at their old lot they were redoing. I was like, oh man, I'd love to get that car. And then a few days later, I went up to their main place and filled out the financing. I got approved for 2 cars. A Grand Am, which wasn't at that location, so I didn't know it was the one I was looking at, and which had 142,000 miles on it. Or a freaking little Pee-wee 4-door Saturn that had 162,000 miles on it. Old man car. That's what it looked like. That's mostly what I always see driving. A little piece of crap. Ugly thing. So of course I sent the Grand Am. All the paperwork, as they're bringing it up, he pulls in, and it's the car I was looking at. I ended up paying about $8,000 for an 02 Grand Am with 142,000 miles on it. It was worth maybe $3,500 at the most. $8,000 in total after the freaking crazy interest rate and shit. Which I still have that car to this day. That is the best car I've ever owned. Let's see, the steering column went within, I think, 2 months. They replaced that. Which actually, that was the first car I actually paid off too. So I remember the place I was working at, St. Mike's, sold, and we got paid out our retirement. So I got paid out like $5,000 only, and I only had, I think, like $1,300 left to pay on the car. So I just paid it off. I never missed a single payment on that either. 2-year loan automatically came out of my bank account every 2 weeks. $174 every 2 weeks, I think it was. Yeah, steering column went, they replaced that. The moonroof was leaking, which they lied about. They said they left the window open because there was a puddle on the passenger's floor. That was easy. I just took some freaking JB Welder metal filler. I plugged the freaking hole up that it was leaking from. Hasn't leaked since. And that was freaking. I think I paid it off in 2009. I got it in 2007. Shit, wait. Or did I get it in 2009? I paid off 2011. I paid off in 2011. I think that was it. I had it like 3 months when I filled in that leak. Hasn't leaked since. It's only really had 2 problems. You know, not just random problems. The alternator went on it twice. That was it. And then I was going down to visit my wife. We first met, lived an hour and a half away. I was coming home with the car, and I was on the turnpike, and it was pouring so bad I couldn't see more than 10 feet in front of me. So everybody got their 4-ways on. Everybody's driving like literally 5-10 miles an hour for probably half an hour. Let's up. I'm going. All of a sudden the check engine light comes on. You're in the turnpike, you know. You do not pull over unless your car shuts off. No, because you're going to get stranded and you ain't going to have no freaking... It's just too much of a hassle to get a tow truck or get somebody there, because then they have to, you have to get lucky with somebody coming from the way you came. Instead of somebody, say, coming from your house, they'd have to get on the turnpike, drive down to you, get off the turnpike and pay, get back on to go the opposite way, come to you, and then when you get off, pay again. No. Dangerous as shit, too. But I get off the exit, I get in line, all of a sudden, start moving, I hit the gas, car didn't move, I'm like, acting like it's in neutral. Finally it moved up, and it wouldn't, I paid, and it wouldn't move from there. So the guy came out, helped me push it over to the parking lot, and looked down, there's a line of red transmission fluid. Somehow the transmission coolant line got a slice in it. Sometime during a downpour, I don't know if it got pushed up into the radiator fans, or I have no idea. But they were cool about it. They just said, you know what, leave it here, get it fixed, and get it out of here, just in a timely manner. We're not big rush, just get it done. It was up there for I think a week, maybe 2. I just had to wait on I think I had to wait on the coolant line, or they had, I forget which. I got a new line, I put that in, I topped it off with transmission fluid. And then the tranny was somewhat acting up for a little while, and it got worse and worse and worse. Then I finally said, you know what, this is going to go on me one day in the middle of a freaking highway or something like that. I'm like, no. I went to a local junkyard. They got a warehouse, and then they have a U-pull place. Their warehouse, now at the time the car had 190 some thousand, somewhere around there, and they had a transmission for my car with only 90 some thousand, 96,000 miles on it, for only $250 with the core deposit. I got that. It cost me $750 to get it put in. And I took my old tranny up. I got 50 bucks back. I haven't had a problem with that since. It still shifts first to second a little hard. I don't know why. I ain't worried about it. Then what the hell was it? Something was causing the axle to transmission seal to leak. I think it just simply started out of nowhere. I had to replace that. I replaced the axle too when I did that seal. I'm trying to think of why. I can't remember why the hell I initially replaced that axle. Oh, I know what it was from. I was coming back from work in the group home and it was snowing. The road was fully covered and I just had brand new tires in the front. Well, they only had a couple hundred miles on them. They were from the used tire place. I was cocky. I was going too fast on the highway. I freaking went and I did a 360 and I hit the freaking curb, or hit the median. It was only one of those freaking medians that go up about 6 inches and back down. That ruined the rim. That messed up the seal, the axle, and the wheel bearings. So that's why I replaced all three at once. I did the transmission seal, I replaced the axle, and I replaced the wheel bearings on one side. That was my fault. And it freaking ruined one of the tires too. Put a big gash in the side of it. And then last year I had to replace the axle and wheel bearings again because something cut the axle bearing boot, or the axle boot, whatever you want to call it, and the bearings fell out. The balls just, it was cut. I mean, slowly it just ended up cut all the way around. So I had to replace that. And then I replaced the wheel bearings because the ABS sensor where it plugs in got ripped out somehow. Ripped clean right out of the wheel bearing housing. And the freaking wires were embedded, so I couldn't get to them and solder it back together. That was the last thing I did. Now I got to replace not the axles, the front struts. Yeah, I replaced the rear struts too years ago. I think the original, they just bottomed out. And now I got to replace the front struts because the front driver's side strut, there was a little wear on it from a rusty wear spot, and it ended up breaking on my way to work. The freaking, at the end of my street, it dips down in the main street. Literally, the end of the road's like this, and it dips down more, and Main Street goes up like a hump. I took it too quick, and boom, and all of a sudden you hear, all you hear every time I turn the wheels, crunch, 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 crunch. So I get to work. I couldn't find it broken first. I just knew it bottomed out almost. It just looks like I cut a couple coils out of the spring. I get home, I look, yep, the fucking strut spring literally just broke in half. So it's still drivable. I just drive it 1 mile down the street to work. I'll be replacing 2 front struts now. That's no problem at all. That's freaking 3 bolts on top. Take the freaking, everything off the bar, take the rim off, and move everything out of the way, unbolt the bottom, and just drop it out. Technically, I've already done everything on both sides except unbolting 3 bolts on top. $120 for a set of struts with, the whole, all put together, springs and everything. I mean, yeah, the cheapest, but the car now has 242,000 miles on it. I'm not going to put expensive parts in a freaking car that I don't know when it's going to go. I'm only using it for work. So I drive 10 miles a week. 1 mile there, 1 mile back. That's it. I think I filled up the tank 3 weeks ago. I'm up to like maybe 60 miles. Yeah, but I had a couple other problems actually. The brain fart. Wow. I was thinking about one other problem, and I forgot what the hell else I was going to say. Oh, it doesn't leak oil, it doesn't consume oil, nothing. So, it's like, everything's fine. It just makes some valve noise because my dad overfilled the oil once. I think by a quart. But once it warms up, it's fine. It doesn't make a sound. But I actually had to, another thing, I had to replace the fuel pump. That sucked. The freaking tank was 3/4 of the way filled too. My dad was using, he went down to the store, he's like, it just stopped working. So I went down, I turned the key, and you could hear, when you turn the key into the on position before you start it, you could hear the pump prime. You hear it in the back. I didn't hear that, so I had to get it towed home. And then, trying to drop the freaking gas tank, the one freaking tank strap, the one bolt would not come out. So I ended up just borrowing my buddy's bolt cutters, and I just cut the freaking strap in half. Dropped the tank, replaced it. I forget how much it cost me. Not much. You got 2 new tank straps, and then I literally had to pull the bolt out like a freaking, like a nail with a hammer. I yanked that out, and the bolt hole was probably about as big as that, the tip of that. And from yanking it out, ended up being like the size of a $50. I know no way to get it out. So I just fucking took the hammer and I pulled it out like a nail. So I ended up replacing it with better material, better bolts. And since the hole was now freaking gigantic, I just got 4 huge washers. Thick washers, too, 2 on each side. So, and then bench pressing a gas tank, 12 or 13 gallon gas tank that's 3/4 of the way filled, pushing it up, holding it in place. I had a car stand underneath it, one of those jack stand, whatever the hell it's called, I forget. Holding one side up, holding another side up even with your hand, and holding the freaking tank strap in place, and then trying to freaking tighten the bolts for the tank strap. That was a fucking bitch. That sucked so bad. Now, the gas gauge don't read right. It was always near E. I mean, I honestly think the floater, either the plug is malfunctioning, the wiring, because I had to buy a wiring kit with it too. Either the wiring is messed up or malfunctioning, or the floater is stuck and it only moved like 10% of the way up instead of all the way up and down. And then all of a sudden it started working again. I got low on gas, and now it stopped working again. Now it's always near E. Now always that fucking gas light's on. That's why I gotta watch. Now I'm driving it like a motorcycle. Every time I fill up, I hit the treatment meter. I fill up every 200 miles. But no car payment. Cars, yeah, a little 2.2 liter 4-cylinder, but it gets up and moves. 4-door black, sport package, chrome rims, moonroof. Honestly, if I ended up freaking, like, say, winning the lottery or anything where I would actually have that much money to spend for sentimental value, yeah, it's just a Grand Am, I would have that car taken down to the bare frame and completely redone. Because that has been the best fucking car I've ever had, and every other freaking car has been a piece of shit. Minus the Grand Prix. Like I said, that one, the only thing went on that was the freaking thermostat. Yes, I am a Pontiac guy, and that sucks they stopped making them. That's what we always had growing up. Yeah, I would have that car completely redone. If I ever had enough money to put, to do something like that. Which, unless this frickin' gets a billion views, that ain't happening. Because by the time I ever make that kind of money, if it ever happened in my lifetime, that car will be long gone. On that note, I am done for today.